The rain pelted down in sheets against the towering glass building of Stratton Tech. Inside, the 43rd floor boardroom was as cold as the numbers on the quarterly reports, bleeding red ink. Executives in tailored suits sat stiff, eyes on the CEO, a man known for building empires and crushing obstacles with the same steely resolve. He sighed, tossed the file onto the polished table. Unless a miracle walks through that door, we're shutting down in 30 days. And then, a knock. Everyone turned. A young girl stepped in, soaked from the rain, clutching a worn notebook and a plastic bag with a half-empty milk carton. "Who let a kid in here?" someone barked. The receptionist tried to stop her, but she held up a trembling hand and said, "Please. Just a minute. I need to speak to Mr. Stratton." The CEO raised a brow, amused more than annoyed. "You've got 60 seconds. She stepped forward, eyes wide but unafraid. "I'll save your company. If you give me enough money to buy milk for my baby brother." A ripple of laughter moved through the room. Someone muttered, "This is ridiculous." But the CEO leaned back in his chair, curious. "And what's your name, miracle girl?" "Lena." He smiled. "All right, Lena. Let's hear your big idea." She walked to the projector, climbed onto a chair, and opened her old notebook. Pages filled with graphs, doodles, and scribbles flapped in the air from the AC vent. She steadied them with a hand, then clicked the remote. The first slide appeared, How Stratton Tech Can Save Itself, from a 14-year-old with nothing left to lose. No one was laughing now. Lena's father had been one of the engineers laid off months ago when the company began bleeding cash. Since then, her family had been surviving on instant noodles and prayers. Her mother worked double shifts at a diner, and Lena, instead of going to school, babysat her 2-year-old brother, Sam. One day, she found her father's old laptop and studied everything he'd left open: emails, engineering notes, market reports. Over weeks, she taught herself enough to understand what the company had missed. "You're focusing on hardware," she said, pointing to the slide. "But your real goldmine is in your software, your data infrastructure. You're sitting on customer behavior analytics that no one else has, clean, untapped data." She clicked again. "You've been trying to sell a failing product when you could license your platform to 3 other companies that are already scaling and desperately need your backend." Silence. A few jaws actually dropped. She clicked again. "I wrote emails, pretending to be from your business development team." 2 replied. "They're interested. If you pivot now and offer them exclusive contracts, you'll have cash flow in 2 weeks." The CEO stared at her, stunned. "You wrote to other companies?" "Yes. Using your domain," she said quickly. "I found an unsecured portal in your system and made a temporary alias." A tech officer's voice cracked. "She hacked us." "No," Lena said, "I patched it afterward." The CEO raised his hand to quiet the room. "What's your angle, kid?" She looked down at the milk in her bag. "My baby brother hasn't had proper milk in 2 days. My mom can't afford it, and my dad's still waiting for work that may never come back. I don't want your money. Just help me get some milk today, and maybe a job for my dad if this works." What followed was a whirlwind. Within 24 hours, Stratton Tech's emergency board convened. The 2 companies Lena contacted scheduled meetings. By the end of the week, Stratton had signed short-term licensing deals worth $8.3 million. Lena didn't understand all the corporate jargon, but she understood when the CEO knelt beside her in the lobby, handed her a small envelope with cash for groceries, and said with a soft voice that cracked, "You didn't just save our company. You saved families. Mine included." Lena looked up, eyes full of quiet strength. "Then make sure no one else gets laid off. People need their jobs. Just like my dad did." He nodded, humbled. "Done." Weeks passed. Lena's father was hired back, not as an engineer, but as a lead consultant. Her mother no longer worked double shifts. And Lena? She returned to school, this time with a laptop donated by the CEO himself. On her first day back, she stood in front of her class during "Tell us something special about your summer," and said simply, "I bought milk for my baby brother. And saved a company." 1 year later, the CEO of Stratton Tech stepped on stage at a global conference. Behind him flashed the words, "Innovation from unexpected places." He told the crowd the story of a girl with no degree, no resources, and nothing but determination, and how she taught an entire boardroom the meaning of vision and heart. When asked what he gave her in return, he said, "A full scholarship. And a seat on our junior advisory board. But honestly, she gave us more than we could ever repay."